Hey, I'm on shot 26, and I still can't miss this green. Just keep on peppering. Hey, you guys, a simple Band-Aid solution that's going to take care of 3 massive swing flaws that you have or that you perceive that you have. Man, you're going to love this show. It's so simple. Time to rip off the Band-Aid. So number 1, more shaft lean, more lag. Man, and you don't even have to think about it. Presenting the Band-Aid. So imagine it's stuck to the turf and you're trying to separate the Band-Aid from the turf with the sole of the club. So we're slipping the leading edge of the club, your blade, through the Band-Aid. What would that look like in slow motion? So if I take the Band-Aid and it's too far forward in my stance, I got to go lunge after it. I can't get through it. If it's too far back, I'm going to have to reach back. So where would the perfect spot be? Well, right there in the center of my stance, it feels like I can use momentum. See where I actually caught the turf? Wouldn't that be exactly like where that Band-Aid was? Just a little bit less wind would have been nice. There you go. So in slow motion, the hands come through first. Notice my hands are through the Band-Aid completely. My hands get through first. Look at the shaft, the shaft lean that's about to happen right here and how deep that lag is. So notice the club's coming down. See how it's slightly open as it begins the peel? And as it continues through, it squares up. And as it's coming out the front, it's square. So when you're collecting and releasing the ball's going to compress against that face, ride along the face for a while, about half the length of this Band-Aid, and then release from it. So where would we put the ball? Well, obviously at the back of the Band-Aid. In actual fact, it would be right there in the center of the ball. So now from there, can the ball stop me from peeling that Band-Aid off the ground? No, it's too small, it's too light. Here we go, so my attention's on the Band-Aid, my eyes are on the B of the Band-Aid right there in front of the ball. So notice my hands are getting past it. Now the club is coming down, collecting the ball here, slightly open, and the ball comes off the face as it's squaring up. So you have that beautiful release action. I'm taking the Band-Aid from here, and I'm going to send the Band-Aid out there. So I'm not just merely peeling it off the ground, I am releasing it into the direction that I want it to go. Number 2, because I want this to go over there, instinctively you will have way better weight shift and way better clearing of the hips without having to think about it. Because I am delivering the Band-Aid over there, well, the brain's got to kick in and engage this kinetic chain of yours. It's going to shift your weight, clear the hips. If I don't clear my hips, I don't have access to the Band-Aid. Can you see how simple that is? So in order for me to get the Band-Aid off the ground, well, the brain's going to go to the ground, use the ground to get me out of the way so I can get all the way through. So your weight shift, your ground forces, and your clearing of the hips is going to be greatly enhanced by this. Point number 3, better swing path. I'm going to start without a ball here. So if I were to take the club back too far inside, well, I'm going to go right through the tail end of that, and the rest of the Band-Aids is going to stay stuck to the turf. If I come too behind me with the arms too deep, I have to come over the top in order for me to have access to the Band-Aid, because from here I just have no access. Even if I try to clear, I can't peel the Band-Aid off the ground. So those of you who are losing your posture, you're going to need to create some space in order to get through that Band-Aid. So it's automatically going to create more width in my backswing. Now I have the opportunity to move through it. What you don't realize is that the golf swing has two pendulums. So I have to present the second pendulum beyond the Band-Aid, and then now notice the club is coming from the inside, not too much, not too little. Starting the peel there, ending the peel there, and then continuing on into that release. So, if all I do now is I focus on letting my momentum send the Band-Aid into the screen, oh, get in. See how accurate that is? So, not too inside, not too outside. The path of my swing becomes so much more efficient. And then you realize that you need the space in order to get through. Bonus, you'll know how strong to have your grip to accomplish that. Because then you'll come to the realization that in order for you to get all the way through and out toward that target, if your grip-club relationship is too neutral, so I'm going to take my neutral grip, and now I'm going to come through. Now the club's coming down. Wow, that's way too open. I'm going to have to bow my wrist. That could hurt. So if I don't bow the wrist, it's going off to the right. If I bow the wrist, this could hurt. I'm going to have to add a little body English to that. So why would I put myself through that heck? So what I want to do is strengthen that grip and feel like it's going to square up on its own. So all I have to do is let momentum through without having to manually do any kind of finagling. So there you have it. Grab your Band-Aid, find where you need to put it, do a couple of practice swings, and you'll realize, oh my gosh, if I send the Band-Aid to the target, the club always has a tendency to want to start from the center of my stance. If I only had one arm, see that? It always cuts right below my shoulder. So if I take this machine and I bring it over, see how I'm going to be able to collect that Band-Aid perfectly? Notice it came down here and breezed right across perfectly. So I bring both arms together to take my grip. That reunites in the center of my stance. I take the Band-Aid, send it over there. You notice how it's always going to start cutting grass from the center of my stance forward like magic. One simple task, and all these wonderful things start to come into play. All right? So let us know how you do. Give us a comment. Use electric tape if you want to, but put something down about the length 3 to 4 inches long and start peeling those objects in the direction of the target, put a ball behind it, and watch the magic happen.